It is the Friday night. It's still the Thursday night. Next year it'll be the Friday night. We're back to Fridays. This is a warm-up. Kieran, Molyneux, Fuad, Hasan, John Gibbons. John, I'll just start with you. The last one, the last game. Nothing riding on it. I've never known a rubber deader. I don't think it's possible for rubbers to be more dead. I like the notion of the dead rubber solely because it's one of those things that's hung over in English from bridge. So everyone who now knows football knows what a dead rubber is from anywhere on the planet, but they've never played bridge. Have you ever played bridge?
No.
Would you like to?
It feels a bit confusing.
There's tricks, isn't there? 'Cause that's where your Mr. Trick comes from. That's another one. He's Mr. Trick there, bridge.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. Loads and loads and loads of English language.
It's really involved in our lives.
It's much more involved in your lives than you know. So we've missed the trick not being in the Champions League.
Yeah, we have. It's frustrating, you know. It's funny that obviously Jürgen's trying to put a brave face on it, and Mo is putting the opposite of a brave face on it, a petrified face on it. And so, you know, there's, as ever, Mo, like a bit like the Champions League final last year when everyone went to start about revenge, and Mo's like, it's fuck it is.
Yeah.
Mo, you know, does his own thing, do you know what I mean? But that's just him, isn't it? And listen, I didn't mind sort of what he put out there.
I'm fine with it.
But also
Black and white was intense though, wasn't it?
Also, yeah.
Like a bad thing in a film.
He seemed to be 10 times more bothered than everybody else was at that moment in time. It just sort of popped up and everyone was raging. It was like,
well, it was like he'd hung on for ages, and we were like, it's like, you know, the 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
It's like he was at the top and we're on about 6 now. Like, we give it up Bournemouth away, mate.
I honestly felt like going back.
He felt like I wasn't Bournemouth away.
that's exactly what it is, to be honest.
I honestly felt like going back and going, lad, did you watch Chelsea? Have you heard of Frank Lampard? You know, this was not a man to rely on. This was not the place for your hope. You know, who was clinging on for Frank Lampard's Chelsea going to Old Trafford and get something? First and foremost, not that they can barely run.
Oh no. They've been poor to be honest, any side Lampard's had hold of has been poor in across the board, hasn't it? From Chelsea, Everton, Derby. So I had no faith in it at all in the slightest. I think, as he said, the 7 stages of the game, I've been dealing with this slowly, and like the nail on the coffin was the result last weekend. We didn't get the win. I thought, right, I've been dealing with 3 or 4 days, and I've seen that. He must have been hanging on right to the last second. Like,
yeah. Like is it Dumb and Dumber? So you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah.
He was still there. Like,
Mo Salson is listening to It Ain't Over Till It's Over. That sort of thing.
and just don't give up T-shirt.
He's got loads of them at shop block. His daughter who's just scored at Anfield last week saying, Dad, can't you wear something else? Nope, not until it's over. I mean, that's it, isn't it, John? You know, I'm not going to say it's when Mo missed the penalty against Bournemouth. That's right. I felt as though if they'd have won every game, well, we now know for a fact if they'd have won every game, they'd have took it to the last weekend because Newcastle did drop points. You know, so obviously the result against Villa does end up being a bit of a kick in the teeth. That said, and I'm intrigued by it. There was a bit of chat last night on Newcastle and United where everyone was a bit like, is it me or are they maybe just both a bit rubbish? All of a sudden began to be voiced, but the one thing I'd say in their defence, as mad as that might sound, is they're both breaking 70 points, and that's what everyone says. If you break 70 points, it's reasonable to expect to qualify for the Champions League, and they've both done it. You know what I mean? When we came third in COVID season, we got 69. They're both broken 70.
yeah, and I think, you know, we're used to, like, of the 6 best teams in Europe, 4 of them are being from England, and maybe that's just not the case right now. But I had to laugh, saying, "Oh, they're not a Champions League." Like, I mean, they're literally in it.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, you wouldn't put it past any of them getting to the last sort of 16 or last 8. They just don't look like they can win it. But then, you know, Porto not a Champions League team.
Yeah.
You know, and so it's kind of like, I think you know, with the standard has been so high amongst those, like Liverpool and Man City have been on another planet to anyone I've ever seen before in this country. And then, so even if you're third and you're a distance from that, you know, there's still been some really good teams who've sort of, you know, finished there. You know, really good Chelsea ones.
Win it.
Yeah,
Chelsea win it when they're not as good as Liverpool or City.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think, you know, this year it does feel a little bit like, well, those two are maybe the level of, you know, who are teams who are normally sort of third and fourth. But like you say, Neil, you can't argue with the points on the board, and they've got there. They've got good totals. You know, we did a show on Rafford earlier in the weekend. You know, we were talking about, you know, seasons getting there on 62 and stuff like that. And yeah, it's different leagues, different times, hard to compare. But you know, they have got there in fair play, and I think they'll both strengthen in the summer as well. So you know, by the time they get in, that it'll be a different squad anyway.
YouTube
Press the button, become a member of the Anfield Wrap from the heart of the city of Liverpool. The best way to enjoy all your Liverpool-based videos, everything you need, every single day. It is the Anfield Wrap.